One. Okay, welcome back to the Front Three podcast with your favorite front three, myself, Big Will, Coach Dan, and of course the prodigy himself, AJ. Fellas, how we doing?
Good. I see Coach Dan is looking very sprightly. So it means that he's had a nice getaway. You know what I'm saying?
You
Look
know
at that
what?
smile. Wow.
And it's thanks to you guys for giving me a week off, innit? So don't worry.
We're going to have to
enjoyed
start on
it.
the bench this weekend, mate. We're going to have to start on the
Yeah.
bench. Can't be taking holidays during the season, mate. You understand?
I hope you lot are not gonna, sack me for doing that, boys. Like some people will be talking about today.
Interesting.
Oh, man.
Good segue, Coach, because I guess the main story in the news right now is PSG, not for the right reasons. So this week, quite a few things are happening at PSG. So first of all, it's confirmed that this is Messi's last season at PSG. So the Messi and PSG project is over. Not only that, he's been suspended again, also for missing training, and then also fans turned up at Neymar's house in Paris, as well as fans turning up outside of the PSG stadium as well. So, I mean, what to make of this storm cooking in PSG, AJ? What do you make of it?
Listen, the whole... do you know what? It's just criminal. What Messi's done is criminal. He knows exactly what he's done. He's done it at the right time, and he knew this would happen. We're not idiots. We all know pro footballers know what they're doing. You know, he knew if he went on holiday during the season to Saudi Arabia without telling anyone at PSG, he'd get banned and he'd be fined. Coach said this once before when the whole Ronaldo song came out. No one is above football. Neither is Messi. It doesn't matter how great they are. But what I would like to say is this is very, very criminal for Lionel Messi. This is very, very criminal behavior. And he must be reprimanded. Because when Ronaldo had a similar incident, the whole world turned on Cristiano. But I was the only one. He stood by my guy because I knew what he was going through. Messi, what's your excuse, bro? You just want to go to Saudi to go and play with the big boys with the money. Cool. You'll get banned and you will leave. But look, all jokes aside, I think it's just a sour end to what promised to be a fruitful relationship between PSG and Messi. We all know they brought him in to win the Champions League and to also, bring that kind of glitz and glam, Galactico-esque kind of vibe to PSG. I mean, if you look at it, honestly, over the last 2 years, it hasn't worked for obvious reasons. And now you look at it, he's now fallen out with the fans. Of course, he's been booed recently a few times because they've been dismayed by his lack of work rate and things like this. But for fans to now storm the PSG stadium and be chanting his name and being against him and then going to Neymar's house, which is bizarre because I don't know if they think that Neymar is Messi's dad or something. But anyway, if you're gonna storm Neymar's house, you should have done it last week or when he got injured or when he goes on holidays, or when he conveniently gets booked or whatever when it's his sister's. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, for the PSG fans, it's all convenient to do it now, but really and truly, where were you over the last couple of years? Do you understand? Messi knows what he's doing. He's planning for a move back to Barcelona. So yeah, they've just put the wheels in motion on a very good PR thing right now, and it's sad for PSG. But of course, the owner came out and said, he wants to rebrand what PSG look like. He wants to sign the best young French players and build a team that is full of that. So let's see.
Coach, what do you make of the storm happening at PSG?
You have to wonder what kind of culture they got going on at that club for a player to just pack his bags.
It's true. And it's not even like he went somewhere crazy. Man went to Saudi Arabia.
What, that is somewhere crazy. You can just imagine he went there for sort of like commercial gains. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And so you have to wonder what kind of culture they've set at that club for players who think they can do that, even if you're Lionel Messi. In that same breath, though, I'd like to just say, AJ admitted here that for Ronaldo, he's making concessions, but for Messi, it's apparently criminal. I say it's criminal for both of them.
For both.
No. But the Ronaldo one that I'm making concessions over is the pre-season one. That's what I'm making concessions over when his child was ill in hospital and a man... Listen. The one where he walked out of the stadium after he was embarrassed by Ten Hag, I'll say that's criminal. It's not allowed in football. I can admit that. But this from Messi? No, son. You're not about.
Fair
No one's
enough.
about football. You know what I
Fair
mean? No
enough.
one's above reproach.
I think ultimately it's an end to a project that I never really had any great expectation for, because it's all well and good having these great players at the tail end of their career, right? But what's behind them isn't good enough. Literally, I was looking at their midfield just a couple of hours ago. They don't have a good team. They don't have a good team to do anything more than they currently do, which is win the league are. And so
that might not even happen.
They're struggling, mate. But coach, see, this is the thing though. And that's why your question about what kind of culture they have. You've not been losing in the league, you're out of Champions League, you're out of the cups. Why would you then go on an impromptu holiday? It's actually a violation. It's such a violation. It's wild.
Listen, these top players know, yeah. Messi not once did anything like that come out when he was at Barcelona. Not that I know of, anyway. It tells you anything goes at PSG. Anything goes, and so it's just a shame that they find themselves in this current situation that they're in. And I think the better, the quicker this thing comes to an end, the better for both parties. Just similar to Ronaldo, and then they just move on. Messi has plenty of options. It's a simple fact. PSG will not get any other player that will come in with such a pull as Messi unless they're bringing in Haaland. So just part ways and do what we need to do. I think it never worked. I never had, like I say, no great expectation of it working. At least you would have hoped that it would have ended a bit better, but it didn't. And that's sometimes that happens in football, and it is what it is.
So what next for PSG now?
The rebuild begins. The PSG got to do a clear up, bro. They have to. PSG are in a similar position to a few English clubs. They've got to have a clear up, and they've got to have a clear structure and ethos as the way they want to move forward. Because clearly, them bringing in the big money, try and buy the Champions League, and I say buy like that, hasn't worked. So you've got to reset and come up with a different structure, different plan. What do you want to do? Do you want to keep Mbappe, have him as your main man, and build a team around him, and a team that will go on to challenge and do the things that you expect to do for the next couple of years? And that means building a team full of young players who are hungry, who have desire. Or, do you know what I mean? There has to be a rebuild. There has to be the press of the reset button. And a few people at the top have got to iron out what their goals are. Do you know what I mean? And how can we achieve it and attain it sustainably? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So there's a couple questions for the guys up top to answer, but 100% a rebrand and a rebuild, because they've got
So coach, where does this leave Mbappe then? What do you think is his state of mind at the moment? Seeing what Haaland is doing in the Premier League as well.
Well, yeah, I think, when you look at PSG and Mbappe, I think the positive thing is that for what the fans have been doing to both Messi and Neymar this week, Mbappe seems to be in the clear. So they clearly want him to stay. Honestly, I look at the situation right now, and if I'm a footballer, I don't know any footballer that's willing to pack up their bags and go to Paris and play football. Well, yeah. Okay, think about it this way. Let's say you're Jude Bellingham, yeah? I'm using him as an example. And Real Madrid offer you, I don't know, 180,000 a week. And PSG offers you 200,000 a week. Who are you going to? Or even 300,000 a week? You're going to go Real Madrid. PSG's not, no one wants to go there. I don't think they've painted themselves in a good light for people to be scurrying to get to go and play with them. And so that's a shame on them. I think AJ was saying, press the reset button, but they need more stability. You can reset the button, but if there's no stability and they're going to run it like they've always done, which is get a manager and sack them if they don't do well in the Champions League or whatnot, it's still not going to work. You need someone that will come in with a project, right, and back him with good footballers. Don't just buy players for the sake of buying players. Guys, they don't have a good midfield. Yes, they have midfielders that are decent, but to the level that they want to be competing in and the competitions they want to be doing good in, these players are not good enough. They're not good enough at all. Ramos can only do as much at the back, but he's 36 now, or however old he is. Neymar doesn't play during parts of the season. Verratti, we know his situation. So I think reset is clearly what they need to do, but they first must iron out this managerial situation. A manager comes in, they need to be given time to build. Guys, they've sacked so many managers. It's clear now. It's not the manager's fault, guys. It's not the manager's
Do you know
fault.
what I
Some very
mean?
good managers.
It's true. Very true. Let's then turn our attentions to domestic matters then. So big news earlier this week. Big Sam is back. Better than ever before, right? Better than Pep, Klopp, and Arteta, apparently. Um, First of all, AJ, what do you make of Leeds' new managerial appointment, and then also his statements about
There's only one winner in
politics?
all of this, and that's Sam Allardyce. One winner.
No,
Listen,
there's only one winner. That's his bank account.
yeah, bro. 4 games. What was it, 4 games, and he has 500 bags in the bank, and then if he keeps them up, 2.5 mil. So all in all, it's probably like nearly 3 million for 4 games. I don't think you are understanding the maths. Because for me, when I heard it, the maths wasn't making sense. Listen, for Sam Allardyce, this is the greatest win he's ever had. This is even better than the bung he was receiving behind closed doors for England when he was England manager. And by the way, the statement he's made here is genius. Because what does it do? Now, listen, let's be honest here. For his first press conference, he should have been in hot water. Because number one, questions about that little fraud bung thing he was doing while he was England manager should have been brought up. How do you questions around, how do you think being at Leeds will resurrect your career, number one? And number two, the money he's receiving should have been brought up. But the genius is Sam Allardyce, what does he do? He comes up, sits there and says, yeah, I'm better than Pep, I'm better than Arteta, I'm better than Klopp. Immediately, everyone goes on a crazy frenzy about it, forgets about the fact that Leeds are going to get relegated, number one. Number two, they've hired a man who hasn't been in management for so long. Why? Because he took a bung. And number three, his account is about to be laced with cash. Okay? So it's just PR genius from Sam Allardyce. Of course, if I was him coming in, how can I release the heat off my players, off my team, off the fact that we're in a relegation scrap? I'm going and tell the world that I'm the best manager in the Prem. It's genius. So I've got to give him credit. Football-wise, well, yeah, it's a long day for Leeds. I looked at their running. It's not favourable. And I'm struggling to see where they'll pick up points. Everyone talks about new manager bounce. Okay, that's great and all, but with 4 games left, number one, he can't come in and change everything completely. Number two, he can't come in like some of these managers and say, oh, we're not fit enough, so we've got to run. Okay. And number three, he can't change the team as much because there's only 4 games left. So really and truly, like I said, it's a win-win for Big Sam. Whether they get relegated or not, he gets the 500 Gs in his account. And also he's back into some form of management. For Leeds, well, a giant could be going to the championship. And I tell you what, coming out of the championship is not easy. I'm going to leave my case right there because I think it's just an absolute farce.
Coach, your thoughts on all things Leeds?
Well, I think a quick side note, for you Arsenal fans, you hope Big Sam
he does something this weekend, isn't it? but listen, Dan, the whole nation put their hope in some Allardyce and he went and took a behind closed doors money. How can I trust this guy? Bro, exactly.
There will be banners of Big Sam at the next Emirates game. Look, clearly this guy's been taking some CBD oils or some psychedelics on his time off. Boys, you don't get to decide what your identity is, not by yourself. It has to be approved by what you've achieved and what society say it is. You can't just come to a news conference and say, I think I'm just as good as Pep. I think I'm just as good as Klopp. I think I'm just as good as Arteta. And I think that's even too much credit to Arteta, who's been in management for like 4 years or 3, whatever it is. He just disrespected so many experienced managers in the league. But anyway, he has done it. And it's well and good enough for him to say, I have knowledge. It means really nothing if you can't translate on the football field.
100%.
And the way football is going now, Sam Allardyce hasn't done anything worthy to be mentioned ever. Unless maybe you're one of these teams that he takes you from 19th through 17th and you've just made it and it's just like, oh, Big Sam. I think it's ridiculous that someone don't work for so long. You bring them in. Like AJ speaking like he was there at the contracts when they were signing it, because he knows every details of the money that's going.
I had to be involved in the money because do you know what? I thought about it realistically, right? Realistically, yeah. Number one, why? Like, this doesn't. Do you know what? I just need to sit down with the guys at Leeds, the guys at the top at Leeds. I just need to sit down with them just for 5 minutes, just to understand their thinking behind this, because this is mad.
I think it's a great example of another club that is just lost right now. They're completely lost. How do you go from Bielsa and end up at Sam Allardyce?
No,
it just blows my mind, guys.
It doesn't. It just screams they don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. Marcelo Bielsa done amazing on a tight budget. They brought in Jesse Marsh, who they really gave good money to, and he thought, let me go into a market I'm familiar with, and he brought in a few players from the Austrian league. It just doesn't seem to be good enough. Their best goalkeeper and only goalkeeper I've ever seen in goal for them is a 21-year-old. He needs competition. Just imagine that 21 or 20, how old he is, or 22, playing in the EPL every game of the season for the last 2-3 years or whatever. There's no competition. There's no sense of him to get better. You need someone that will really take his game to the next level, and it just looks shocking, boys. That being said, I think it's a bit harsh that Garcia should get sacked, because he hasn't been doing well. He's been doing terrible because they've conceded a ridiculous amount of goals. But he's not coming to a team that were doing great, guys. They were suffering when he came. Bro. And he's doing what he can. With 4 games to go, listen, Sam Allardyce, I don't know what he's going to do that is going to transform this team in the next 4 games that's left of this season. I don't know what they're thinking. They're wasting money that they probably shouldn't be wasting, because with Big Sam coming in, you should have got just someone from the backroom staff to come and see out the last 4 games. If that's what you really feel like doing. How do you go from a manager that you had faith in, bringing him in a couple of months ago, and then 4 games to go, it's like, oh, we're done with you. We don't have that faith in you any longer. Ridiculous. It's a sad state of affairs. Because, boys, you remember early on, like in the early times of our podcast, we done an episode on Leeds, and just how great they've been running the club to come to the Premier League and bringing in the right staff in Marcelo and his backroom staff. They've lost their way this last 18 months or so, and it's sad to see. I don't think they deserve to stay in the league, boys, because I just think they're very bad. I think them and Southampton are very bad, and both of them need to go, plus another team that we can toss the coin on.
For sure. Let's look ahead to the Champions League semi-finals next week. Some mouth-watering ties we've got. Let's start off with the Milan derby, AC versus Inter. What are your thoughts, Coach, regarding this classic?
Well, I think classic is a strong word to use. See, now they've been getting along for the past couple of years, but I get it. History-wise, this is set to be a great game, and I know the Italian fans won't disappoint with the atmosphere that they're going to create. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think looking at Leao in that league, they're scared of him. I think people are just very fearful of him. Once he starts and he gets that couple of yards and grabs in front of him, people are backing up. And the further he comes at you, you can't stop him. So he's a great, a big advantage for them. And AC Milan, for some weird reason, they just know how to. They've been getting results when you don't expect them to in the Champions League. I have to say, the last tie, you would have thought Napoli had enough to get over them. They couldn't. I chose Inter Milan to go through. I'm looking at AC Milan because I watched their second leg, AC against Napoli in Italy. So I saw what they do have, and I think AC Milan's got this tie in the bag.
Really?
I do.
See, I fancy Inter, to be honest. I think Inter are fine at the moment.
It's a Champions League game, Will. It's a Champions League game. Napoli were flying as well until they came up against a certain Ishmael Benessa and Tonali and Olivier Giroud and those guys there. So I don't know. I honestly, I have AC Milan to get to the final, which is saying something, because I think that's a great achievement, guys. A couple of years ago, this team was down and buried. to go
Yeah.
win the league, reach a Champions League final. It's phenomenal. And they, I'm talking about PSG not having a great team. I don't think they necessarily have a top team, but at least they have a team.
Yeah. AJ, your thoughts on the Milan derby?
Like I said, when AC played Napoli, I said, if Leao decides to turn up, it's curtains. He turned up and it was curtains. Same thing with this game. But I think this one's a bit more hinged on the strikers as well. Number one, if Leao turns up, it's curtains. But number two, it's a battle of the strikers. Giroud versus Lukaku. I think that's where the game will be won in both boxes. But especially in that forward line. I think Lukaku's in a little rich vein of goal-scoring form. Giroud has the know-how. Who prevails on the day? I think it's a great advert for Italian football. I think it's going to be the last Milan derby at the San Siro, I believe it is as well. So I know that the fans will. It's already been sold out. So I know that it's going to be an amazing, amazing occasion. To be honest, I think Milan will do it. AC. I just think they'll pip it. I just think they just have a little bit extra for this. I don't know why I feel like that, but I think it's going to be a great game. I'm a neutral, so for me, I'm just going to enjoy the Italian affair, the Italian job. But I just think if Leao steps up, I think it'll be a very long day for Inter. And Lautaro Martinez, I can't bring his name in this conversation because he's always hit and miss. This is a time where
he's in a rich vein of form now.
Oh, okay. We always say this, but then when it really matters, nowhere to be found. So
honestly, boys, yeah, we're living in a multi-universe. I look at this both Milan teams, yeah, and I say, I can think of 6 teams that will easily smash, like absolutely wipe the ground with these guys in the EPL. But yeah, one of them will be playing the Champions League final, and I think
crazy.
You have to give them credit for it, for that, guys. They've hanged on, done what they need to do, to be a team. You look at Inter, because I didn't speak much about them. You see what they've done, sort of like holding off Benfica, who've been phenomenal throughout the whole Champions League campaign. I think it's credit to them. They just know how to more or less see out these games, and it's evident in the amount of teams that they still got remaining in the European competitions. So credit to them, and congratulations to whoever gets to the final. But Milan, they'll be partying Milan regardless.
Facts.
Exactly.
I'd love for Lukaku to do it and then win the Champions League and come back to Chelsea with a Champions League medal and then be a part of Poch's revolution. That would be a dream. But anyway,
I hope it doesn't happen.
You're a very silly individual.
Is there any chance Real Madrid stop Man City, coach?
I think when you're Real Madrid, in fact, the question should have been posed: is there any way Manchester City stops Real Madrid?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
not because, yeah. By comparison, I think Real Madrid are anywhere near Manchester City, but it's just because it's Real Madrid and it's a bloody Champions League, and they're just annoying with it. I'm sick and tired of it because I think this is it. This is the year, guys. I told you guys. Haaland might score 90% of City's goals, but he might finally be that individual that crossed the line for them. That take them past that finish line. And Pep's first Champions League in however many years, over 10 years now, probably. So it's ridiculous that, Pep even himself hasn't won it for that much. But I think he's got the ingredients, guys. I think AC Milan look really good. Guys, you look at how KDB, Gundogan, and Rodri, the way they just work in that midfield, they remind me how solid they've been recently, remind me of sort of like the Modric, Casemiro, and Kroos, kind of like that trio in the middle. I think it works now. And you add in Bernardo as well.
It's best midfield in Europe at the moment, really.
By a country mile, I would argue.
Yeah.
Hey, look, the truth of the matter is City are the best team in Europe. Probably the best team in the world, I'll be very honest. Come to the conclusion. Whether KDB plays or not,
AJ, I beg. There's Asante Kotoko.
No, there's Flamengo.
Hearts of Oak. Nonsense. Listen, at the end of the day, yeah. Look.
Oh, the team that Ronaldo plays for, maybe, he knows.
All the team Messi's been suspended at, never thought I'd hear that. But anyway, I think City are the best team in the world. But weirdly enough, they're not the favourites for the tie. And that's so weird to say. But the affinity Real Madrid have with this Champions League is almost scary. But if there's ever a year to do it, I think it's a line for City to do it this year. just the way they played. Everything about the way City are playing right now is beautiful to watch. With or without KDB, they still find ways to win, and you just see how, like Dan, that you said, like how that midfield works. Bernardo Silva, one of the best midfielders in Europe, hands down. Like, and then you see the form that Haaland is in. Can he do it? If he does, he has to go. If he does, he has to win Ballon d'Or. End of story. End of story. There's no two ways about it. If they win the Champions League, Haaland has to win Ballon d'Or. You can't not win the Champions League and score the amount of goals he scored and broken all these records and no, you can't tell me anything. Has to.
Yeah. I mean, for me anyway, in terms of City, sorry, coach. I think what's impressed me the most about them in this run is just their defense at the moment. Akanji, Diaz, just the way they're so defensively solid. Like, you don't feel they're going to concede a goal. I think as much as they've been so potent up front, defensively they've been absolutely solid, rock solid.
Solid. You're right. In fact, even to a point where
Ake as well.
John Stones was playing centre mids, and we didn't even realise. That's how solid they've been.
They look solid everywhere. You look at the game they beat. Was it Leipzig? Like 20-0 or whatever it was, and Haaland scored 18 goals.
I said 20-0.
I was just watching, right, and they've really also stepped up in their set pieces. They're scoring so many goals from them, and then and in cup competitions, it seems like the European teams can't defend those. Like, I don't think Leipzig had any plan on how to stop them. They scored a couple of goals that way in the tie against Leipzig, and even in the EPO as well. They scored many from set pieces as well. The inch perfect crosses that they make and all those kinds of stuff. It just gives them so many ways and weapons to hurt the opponent. And Real Madrid's been going through a bit of a dip. They don't seem to
a lot of goals.
They're shipping goals.
Without Benzema, they can't seem to do anything. Whenever he's been out of the side, they lose, and it's just that. And I really fear for them. They've given them a rest, but City's a different animal, guys. You think about last year they went past City. But you look at you guys have been just mentioning what City been doing great this couple of months now. Tail end of the season, everyone is on job. Bro, I don't even think they even have access to their phones, It's they're running a tight ship there. If anyone knows how to do it, it's Pep and his backroom staff. So I suppose I'm going to be biased, man. I think an AC Milan, Manchester City in the Champions League final.
Yep, I agree.
Is that a consensus then, AJ?
Well, what can I say?
Go for Real Madrid, so at least one of us is correct.
No. I think, like I said, it's just a weird one. I feel like City should do it, but they're not favourites, even though they are the greatest team in the world at the moment. So, we'll see though. Let's see if Pep can deal with some Allardyce at the weekend first.
Yeah. And then finally, gents, any quick thoughts before we leave?
Listen, out of Leicester and Everton, one of those two are going down alongside Leeds. Very scary scenes, and that's crazy. I was having a debate today with some of the guys, and I said, Everton are just, I think I said this the other day, Everton are just full of Premier League rejects, and if they do get relegated, a lot of their fans need to turn up at Frank Lampard's house. I've seen as fans are turning up at people's houses. They got to turn up at Frank Lampard's house because it's criminal. Very, very criminal. Very, very, very criminal what he's done in football this season. How could one man? Nah. And to be fair, after Arsenal let the cannon go against them, his press conference after was so funny. I think he just lost it. I think he's at his wit's end right now. But so the relegation battle, I think it's the tightest and craziest I think I've seen it in years. And it just shows that there's a gulf that's starting to come into the Prem between the top 9 and the rest of the league, and it's quite scary.
And that's why it's the best competition that most people tune in to across the world. It's because year after year, for many years, they've been providing great entertainment for everyone. you look at the bottom of the league, like you say, is amazing. The top of the league look very nice as well. And then the teams that need to qualify for Champions League spots,
Champions League is tight.
it looks very, very, like you say, tight and very appealing. So all credit to sort of like all the 20 teams that are in the competition. Some of them not really contributed, and it's about time we give them their P45s.
also, my last thing is Jude Bellingham to Real Madrid. They've got their midfield pattern for the next 20 years. I'm telling you.
Someone will intervene.
Who?
Arsenal. Look how his facial expression changed.
Please.
Arsenal could never afford Jude, even if they sold their whole team.
Bro, it's crazy. But
don't worry, we're getting Declan. He's better.
Declan Rice is not better than Bellingham. We're getting Declan Rice, which is great. I hope we do. But he can't even put the knee strap on Bellingham's knee that he's been wearing recently. He can't even let no chance, dude. Nah, but seriously though, great. If of course if it goes through like it's been reported, it's a great move for him. But even so, for Real Madrid, I think now that the old guard is looking to go off with a Modric and the Cruz, Casemiro obviously already gone, to have Tchouaméni, Valverde, Camavinga, and Jude Bellingham making up your midfield is serious. Young talent, athletic, creative, technically gifted, to take on Real Madrid for the next Los Blancos for the next 10 years. I think it's going to be a sight to behold. So it's a great move for the young man if it goes through. Absolutely. Same way Real Madrid do their business, silent but deadly. Please, Arsenal, if you're listening, let's start moving, okay? Thank you so much. Kind regards. Best wishes, Andrew.
There you go. That does it from the three of us. Make sure you tune in same time next week as we look back on the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals. See you then.